Looks like we are live. Doop, doop, doop. We'll hang out for just a second to make sure YouTube and Twitch fires up. What are you seeing over there?
Twitch is up.
Yep, Twitch just warned me it's up, so that means YouTube's right behind it.
Yep, YouTube's up.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Same Forge channel as always. Today is a little bit different. We have another noob with us, my buddy Ty. Say hello, Ty.
Hi.
He has been my friend since the 5th grade, and he did a blacksmithing class where he made a railroad spike knife.
Yep. And
now he wants to try real blacksmithing. So we're going to do like the very beginner lesson. If you're used to the channel, you've seen it before. We walked quickly through it. We're going to do S-hooks today. So yeah, let's get started. I will be on the right. You can be on the left. All right, excellent.
It's like the perfect day to do this. It's beautiful. It's only like 75, 76 degrees.
Yeah, nice breeze cruises by every once in a while. It's nice. So yeah, we're gonna do an S-hook. It'll be follow the leader style. I'll show you the first step, then you do the second, then you do the first step, then I'll do the second.
Okay.
And we'll walk right through it. And if we get through it pretty quick, we'll cut off another chunk of steel, and we'll do like a garment kind of thing. Take it home, nail it to your wall, and hang your hat on it, or your
My wife has plants.
Hang some stuff from the plants. That's cool too.
There's lots of bought S-hooks. This one would be cooler.
Absolutely. If you want to get real fancy, sometime we can pull out the square stock and put twist in it and make it look all fancy.
Awesome. And you gotta put your initials in it. You gotta represent your name.
I don't have my touch mark on me. I think it's in the house. I was not prepared for that question or that comment. All right, we're probably getting really good and hot over there. All right, so I'll show you the first step here. Top half. So it's round. We don't forge things while they're round. Okay. We want to make them square first. Boop. So smack it, turn it 90 degrees. Smack it, turn it 90 degrees. Smack it, turn it 90 degrees.
Okay. Make it square.
See how that came out pretty square?
Yep.
You'll notice that just by doing it back and forth, sometimes it gets a wiggle. So just give it a little smack and bring it back into play. So that's all you're doing. Make your end piece square.
Okay. That's all I'm doing.
That's all you're doing. Make it square. Remember, don't blast it. You're going to it, not through it.
Okay, so I got a good grip. Is this the way I do it?
Yep. Hang on real tight.
Rounded
Set
side.
it down. Yep. Give it a smack. You can smack it a little harder than that. There you go. 90. 90. Exactly. Keep going. Back and forth so you get real good, nice and square. There you go. I'd correct it. You got a little bit of a wiggle there. I'd correct that. So give it another smack. There you go. Back in the fire.
Sweet. Deeper or same depth?
Just basically level, just kind of like mine is there. We don't want to dive straight into the fire. You'll end up in the hot pot, and it's like the fire's a Mordor down there. It'll just melt the steel right out of there.
There we go. Over here.
Believe it or not, that's why I prefer the horn on the right side, because it's a nice hammer shell.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I'm hot enough. We can move on to the next step. Used to working with longer pieces. You almost got to see me dance and jump. So now what the fun part is, now that we're square, right?
Yeah.
Two things going on here. I'm going to raise up my elbow.
Okay.
And hold it at a bit of an angle.
Okay.
I'm at the edge of the anvil. And my hammer is going to match that same angle. And when I do that, we put in a nice taper.
Okay.
We'll switch the camera. Boop. So hold it up in the back. And then you just want to correct it, make it look nice. Well, I was going into chain links there. So you want to taper it down on all four directions.
Okay. So like a little spike.
Yeah, we're going to make really pointy sticks.
Okay.
And I've been making so many chain links, I started to make that into a chain link. So I'm going to clean up my work here a little bit. Nice. So usually I get that done in 1 week, but we can take our time. So basically, just like I said, hold up your supporting arm at a bit of an angle, then hammer matches that angle, and work all four sides to make it pointy.
Okay, so edge of anvil here.
Yep, hold it up to the edge, yep,
Okay.
just like that, and now match the angle. There you go. Smack, and then turn 90, and smack, 90, smack, and keep going. Yep, keep going. Okay, stay out toward the tip. Yep, there you go. There you go. Right, we're getting pretty black, so let's go ahead and jump back in the fire there.
Okay.
It's a good habit to stop swinging when it's black, because when you move into working tool steel or spring steel, you'll put cracks in it if you hammer it black.
Okay.
Real quick thing I always do at the beginning of the thing. Today we are smoking a Live G's. If you're a veteran of the channel, you know it's one of my first favorites. Changed my life.
What did I have the other day at that one place?
A short story?
Short story. I'm not a big cigar guy, but it was pretty good. It was small, so.
So I want to get on a point here that I forgot to mention. I told you we come out here and hammer on the taper at the edge of the anvil, because if we did it in the middle, I'm just hitting the anvil. I'm not going to get any actual work done.
Okay.
So that's why we do it out at the edge of the anvil. Since this is like a beginner's lesson, I will also mention to you that usually when we do work, we do it in the middle of the anvil. We're going to get the most work back from the anvil, because the anvil hits the metal just as hard as you are. But because we got cameras, I always work over here. So that's why I'm working way over here, as opposed to using the middle like you're supposed to.
Ooh, so sharp.
I got a bit of a rag there at the end. I was just trying to work it out to the end real quick while it's brittle, so it'll break off just like that.
Okay.
So basically what I just did, you're going to do.
Let's see here. Edge.
Yep. Try to keep it symmetrical all the way around.
Is that about right?
You're getting there. Yeah, let's jump back in the fight. Yeah, a little bit of a wrongness thing going on, but we can get that fixed. No big deal. This is moving
motion
well.
I do too often.
You'll be sore in the morning. As much as you work out, you're going to be like, oh, that's not a muscle I use all the time.
Already feel it in my wrist.
I'm doing that real fast because I'm just trying to get that flap out of there. All right. There it is. That's from when I cut earlier.
Remove the flap.
I used to have a doodad. There we go. I can lap that off real quick if I can get a hold of it.
Have you ever caught your beard on fire?
Not on fire, but there has been times where I was working on something and I leaned over and my beard fell down onto the piece. It's like, oh, that's me. So yeah, that's happened. All right, I'm going to stay out of the fire for a second because I'm a little bit ahead of you.
Okay.
Which is perfectly normal, which is not a motion for you to go faster. Take your time.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so how do you want this?
You're awfully flat on this side, so let's work on getting that caught up to about the same. Yeah, we're getting there. Beautiful. Yeah, keep going. Do exactly that until you're all black. Then you'll basically be caught up with that. And you got a little bit of a rhombus thing going on here, which is perfectly fine and normal. It happens. But in the next step, that'll go away. So that's why we're not worried about it. Yeah. Just jump back. Will you throw me in the fire too while you're there?
Yep.
Please and thank you. You're doing a great job of keeping your metal at the right spot so you're not down into the fire.
I'm just copying you, man.
Yeah. Lots of beginners, they want to get down to the heat, so they like stab it with their like steely knives, and then they pull out a sparkler, and then they're all upset that an hour of work just went down the tubes.
I do like sparklers.
They're fun.
I like sparklers. You can write your name in them.
And everyone's seen my silly sparkler hammer troll videos. It's a lot of fun to do every once in a while, but not when you've been working on something for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then you like get to jibber jabber about something, and you turn around, you pick it up, and your piece breaks off in your hand.
Whee.
I've left the shop because of that. I worked on this piece. I don't even remember what it was. I had sweat pouring down my face. It was getting to where I wanted it. I was so close, guys, in the fire. Got the jibber jabber, and somebody picked it up, and it broke apart in air, and I watched it crumble into the fire. And I set the piece down, put my hands up, and walked away. Went outside, had a cigar, sat in the parking lot, and hung out with the guys for a while. They're like, "You done forging?" Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm done with this today.
I'm done.
Yeah. I learned my lesson. Speaking of which, we made those pieces really pointy and thin, which means they heat up a lot faster.
Okay.
So let's not get into the jibber jabber and warm up the pieces.
No jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber about jibber jabber. All right, so here's another fun piece here.
Okay.
People often ask me what the heck I'm talking about, so I'm going to go real slow. I might lose my heat. So you see that's flat?
Yep.
And that's a high point.
Yep.
Right? It's got a nice high ridge. We're going to give those high points. See, I'm not blasting it. I'm just giving it a little bit of love and just chase those high points. That's the process. So it's square now. So when you hit those high points, you get two lines.
Okay.
You turn that one ridge into two. So now it's an octagon.
Okay.
And once you've made it that octagon shape, see how I've basically chased all those large lines out there, then you can start rotating. I don't know why I had an accent when I said that, but basically you want to start close to you and work towards the end of the anvil.
Okay.
If you work backwards, it'll curl up on you, and then you have more work to curl. So always start out here, and then work it down in there. And just kind of keep it moving. See how that got nice and round? That's not great, but I'm going to do another heat. Okay. There's never a problem with taking another heat to make it look pretty.
What kind of steel is this?
This is just mild cold rolled steel. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Okay. So now, like I just said, you're not going to blast it. Just give it a little bit of love and just hit those high points. Start where it starts to get square back in here. Okay. Yeah, hold it flat for that part. And just chase that line all the way out to the end. I'm not trying to smoke up your face while you do it. Yeah, keep going. Keep chasing those lines. Yeah, try to hold it level there so you don't get all those bends and stuff. Alright, so you're pretty black. You're not going to move a lot of steel, so let's go ahead and get her back in there in the hot. Not bad. We'll do a couple heats, no big deal. Thank you. So, this is moving along real quick. This isn't going to take us any time at all. Alright, so yeah.
I love doing this stuff. I did a class down in Brown County, Indiana. And we actually made like 3 or 4 of the, what do you call this, train railroad tie.
Railroad spike?
Yeah, we did it several times to kind of perfect it. And then they showed us different ways to clinch.
Sure.
And it was a good class. Of course, you can't learn a lot in 5 or 6 hours of one thing.
True.
You got to do it over and over again. And
I'm not overly happy with how round that is, so I'm going to do another one myself to make it prettier. Okay. So, just since you bring it up, I'll mention it for new people that may come along. Railroad spikes are low carbon, even though some are marked HC, which means high carbon. The problem is they're so low carbon, even a high carbon one doesn't have high carbon in it. It just has higher carbon than normal. And with its low carbon content, even though you clench it, temper it, you'll never actually get it hard, so it'll never hold an edge. That's just an educational thing for you turning in. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Let's do another heat anyways to clean up some of those hammer marks.
Ooh, almost dropped it.
But railroad spike knives are a great way to learn making knives. A blacksmith that's been doing it for 52 years once told me, make 1,000 knives and throw them all in your scrap bin, and then try again, and then you'll start making good knives.
Good words.
He also says you can tell the quality of a blacksmith by how big his scrap pile is. And I always laugh back and say, dang, I'm going to be an incredible blacksmith someday. I have a huge scrap pile. Yeah, I think we're good enough to get to the next step. So I'll step out of the fire so you can get caught up.
Okay.
So basically, just keep doing what you're doing and chase out those lines and hammer marks.
Okay.
Take your time, go slow, be deliberate about your hammer strikes.
Nice and level.
Yep. And just look for the high lines, like right there. Chase that ridge all the way down to the end. There you go. And then do the same thing for that ridge there. Yeah. I like where those ridges are. I don't know if it comes up on the camera or not, but that's pretty smooth. So what I would do is let's do another heat. And on the next one, you'll do the thing like I was doing where you're constantly spinning it over and over and over while you just keep a steady doop, doop, doop. And I'll clean up from there.
How long does it take to heat up? Like what's too long?
When it sparkles.
Does it sparkle through the coal?
Oh yeah, you'll see white sparkles like dancing up through the coal there. If you look over there and you see that the flame right about there starts to turn a little green, you are flirting with disaster.
Okay.
Or flirting with forge welding. Because when that starts to go green, that's when the metal is getting to that prime point. It's almost ready to weld. So you keep a closer eye on it, and then you pull it out and you do the welding thing. So if you look over there and you see green in that flame, pull your piece out.
Okay.
Another thing I think you're doing it already is that really pointy end is very small. It'll burn off before you even blink, right? But it looks like you buried it in the coal on the other side. That'll insulate it from some of the heat, and it won't burn off so fast. So good thinking there. And you'll eventually, like if you do this over and over, you'll get this weird timer in your head. You put a piece in the fire, and you can get your tools out, and you can do the stuff, and you just turn around and grab it, and you know it's ready. You just get this mental timer in your head, like, oh, I've been in there long enough. Like right now, you're probably blazing hot, which will be a great opportunity to clean up your hammer marks. So yeah, come on out and just continually roll it over and over and over.
Now, which way do you roll, right?
Doesn't make a difference. Whatever is comfortable for you. And just give it quick little taps. Don't like blast it. Just quick little taps. Yep, keep it moving. A little bit easier on those smacks. There you go, just like that. Beautiful. All right, I think we're about ready for the next one. You like that hammer?
I put it in here? Or what?
Yes, please.
Yep, all the way?
Yeah. You can bury that tip if you would. Well, not that far. Come back out.
Up there?
We mostly want the heat to just be to the part that we've been working.
Okay.
There. So about like that. That fire is not blasting. So what we're going to do next, I guess we're at the pointy part. It would be really awkward to go on to the next step. Because when we flip it over and have to do it over, we'll have a knot. So what we're going to do, actually, now this is mild steel.
Okay.
So quenching it in water, perfectly okay.
Okay. It has a hard.
Yeah, and it won't fracture and break like spring or tool steel.
Okay.
So never put tool steel or spring steel in water when it's hot.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is exactly what we were just doing. We're going to make the stick pointy on the other side.
All right.
Next 8 steps, we just...
You ever had issues with the forge melting? Because the fire's coming up all the time.
So the hot pot, which you can't see because it's covered in coal at the moment, is in the very center of the wheel, if you will.
Okay.
That's made out of cast iron.
Okay.
So its melting point is way higher than what we typically do.
Okay.
Now, over years and years and years and years of use, it'll start to rust a little bit, it'll start to crack, and then the little pieces will start to burn away, and then you end up with caps. Just hit it with a welder, you're back in business.
All right.
Heck, one of the forges at the blacksmith shop I go to every Thursday night, custom blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. The forge I always use, we noticed that the air was not getting to the fire at all. We were cranking and cranking and cranking, and it's like barely a fire. So we looked down there, and there's a huge crack all the way around the hot pot. So I got some aluminum foil and rolled it up real tight, and then stuffed it in the crease. Fired right up. It's like, well, that'll last for about 2 weeks before that burns out, but then we'll pull out the welder then.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's ways to get around that.
Nice.
This forge itself, without the hood and all the accoutrement there, probably been around since the late 1800s.
That's an old forge.
Early 1900s, based on what kind of forge it is. It's an old rivet forge. They probably dragged this along the railroad, using it to make stuff as they made the railroad kind of deal.
Every time I think of the word forge, all I can think about is Skyrim.
Never played it.
What?
I've already
You're
been
a
yelled at.
D&D nerd, man.
I
You've
know.
never it's the best game ever.
I just missed it.
I played that and Fallout 4 like all the time. Back and forth, back and forth.
I've never played a Fallout game either. Not a single one.
You are missing out, man. Maybe you're not, because it's definitely a time waster.
Right? I got PUBG for that.
My son would play like Skyrim, and you have all these mods, right? I'm like, why are you playing it? You gotta play it for the story. He's like, oh, I beat it like 15 times. He's like, look at this, it's Flash mode, and he like put in a code, and he's like running around like Flash, like super fast all over the place. It's like, I guess you don't need a horse. He's like, nah, I can do it on the horse too. Watch this. The little horse is like doing like this. Pretty fun.
All right, so back to the same original steps. Square,
Yep.
taper, and all that jib jab. Doop.
What's that handwork?
I'm gonna go ahead and do my taper all in one bit here.
Ooh. So fast.
Years of practice. Alright. I'll let that go a little black, but that'll be
My turn.
Yeah, jump on in there. Again, you don't have to go fast like me. Go at your own, run your own race, so to speak.
Okay.
So, slow, deliberate smacks. Whack. 90 degrees. Whack. Make sure you're getting that full 90 rotation so you don't get a weird rhombus. Go for it. Cool. Let's jump in the fire. Well done. We're going to blast through this in no time. Heck, if I got the metal over here, maybe I'll let you do a chain link for my subscriber chain.
Sounds good to me. Grab this Gatorade here.
Yeah, jump in.
Gatorade H2O. See, you know that.
Well, yeah. Movies, I got.
I would have to say Fifth Element is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
I reference Fifth Element almost every stream.
Between that and Matrix.
Now Matrix, I know, but probably not as well as he does. but I know the Matrix pretty well.
Yeah, we don't have Levi here, so we don't know if we should be blaming him for stuff or not.
You can like me this time.
Oh, you want to? Are you sure you want to volunteer for that kind of public humiliation?
I mean, I guess I can't put Ty through that. His
All
trip.
right.
He might not come back.
All right, we got a good crowd here tonight in the live audience here.
I
The
don't
chick
know
in
if
the
he
red
was.
dress and her mousy boyfriend are back. All right, guys. Are we going to blame Brittany for everything? Put your hand up if yes. Okay, the mousy guy and the guy with the weird hat, they're voting yes, but the woman in the red dress apparently is a fan.
Ty's copying the woman in the red dress because he raised both hands.
Does he count for 3 too?
That was a Levi thing. I think that's
You get
up
to
you.
decide
That
this
was
time.
him.
Does he count for 2 or 3?
He can count for 3.
All right, now let's vote if it's a no. Woman in the red dress very excitedly jumped up, both hands in the air, and everyone else. So I guess we're blaming you for everything.
Sounds about right.
All right, everything's Brittany's fault tonight.
She usually
Ma'am,
okay.
sit down. It's fine. She was a little bit too excited to vote for you there, Brittany. Oh, you're hotter than I
She's
am.
got to hate somebody.
Well, thank you.
Might as well be me.
I think I made him vote yes twice. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
All right.
The guy with
Doing
the
the
weird
same
hat
thing,
distracted
right?
me. Yep. But you don't have to do the 90-degree thing, but just work your taper down on both sides, obviously. Yep. Yeah, just like that. Keep it up. I should remember to switch the camera back and forth. Yeah, some people you up. Yeah, they're doing great.
Okay.
All right, jump back in the fire. Our next step is going to be, because you pretty much kept up with me on that one. So next step is rounding. Boop. Nope. Boop. There we go.
So smooth. Smooth criminal.
Annie, are you okay?
Okay, so rounding.
Remember, just hit those high points and then don't blast them. Just not through it. Sorry about that. I just wanted to. All right, let's jump in the fire and do that same step again.
Okay.
So yeah, we think we're blaming Brittany for everything tonight.
Sorry, Ty. That was all my fault. I'm
What?
used to everything being my fault. It's fine.
Well,
Is this
next
a
time Ty
production?
comes out, a little bit. So yeah, we referenced the Matrix and Fifth Element
Does.
about every stream.
Okay.
Usually when Levi is hitting on metal for far too long, he'll be like, I need some heat in here. Give me the heat. You know, the guy that's getting rid of the
Yep.
gremlins in the spaceship. Which brings us to a good point. I asked this once before, but you weren't around for that. Perfect sci-fi movie. Nothing can be added, changed, or subtracted to make it better. It's perfect.
I would say the Fifth Element is probably pretty close.
That would be my
Now-
first.
I'm an old like Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan, like old school.
Sure.
So they make fun of like a lot of sci-fi movies. I love that stuff, but Fifth Element, there's really not a lot I can make fun of.
Well, there's plenty to make fun of.
But like,
It's campy as hell.
you can't improve it really.
There's
You know what I
nothing you
mean?
can do to improve it. Anything you did would just subtract. So yeah, let's go real easy on our class and be real deliberate about hitting those high points. I wish I had a call on you. So let's talk about our piece for a second. So you see that hard line there?
Yeah.
Don't smack anything just yet. We're going to talk about it. So see that hard line there?
Yep.
Rotate it a little bit. Keep going.
Right there.
You got another ridge there. Keep going. You got a ridge there. So what I would do is get that real good and hot. We'll take a extra moment to let it get really hot so you have more time. And you're going to keep it moving and just work those lines
Nice
out.
and light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice and easy. As Frank Sinatra said, nice and easy does it every time. But yeah, I love Fifth Element and how campy and ridiculous it is. And if you get certain widescreen versions of it, when Cornelius cracks Bruce Willis in the head with the award to knock him out, you can actually see Bruce Willis looks over his shoulder for the stunt mat. So when he falls, he knows where to fall. So you can actually see him looking on the ground instead of just being knocked out. So yeah, there's lots of campy, ridiculous stuff.
But like, it's just a good, funny movie, and you can watch it over and over again.
What I'm ashamed to admit is I had watched that movie probably 70 bazillion times before I realized that the bad guy and the good guy never interact. The entire movie. Name one other movie where the antagonist and the protagonist don't interact at all.
Yeah.
Like, the closest they get is Bruce Willis and Lilu and Ruby Rod run out of a room, and 10 seconds later, the bad guy walks into that room. So you just missed him, and then the good guys steal the bad guy's ship and fly away.
Yeah.
But they never interact with him directly. That's so weird. Movies don't work that way usually.
And a movie I watch every year, might be controversial to a lot of people. I watch Rocky Horror Picture Show every October, no matter what. And I have the black and white version. It's freaking fantastic. First 4 or 5 times I watched it, I thought it was horrible. But then it became like a thing. And then I went to, in Terre Haute with our friend Rose.
Sure.
Went to like an actual Rocky Horror Picture
Hi,
where
Rose.
you throw stuff at the screen and all that stuff. I dressed up. It's a long time ago. I don't remember what I dressed up as.
Frankenfurter.
I don't know. Maybe. I have no shame.
I could see a guy your size dressed as Frankenfurter as being hilarious.
I'll dress as Rocky. It doesn't matter to me. I have no shame. And then my wife, every year for the last 3 years, has wanted to do it. And it was either too cold or we had to work or something. We just haven't been able to go. But now it's just a thing I watch every year. I love that when the movie was made in the early 70s, that everything that was in that movie was highly risque.
Yeah, very
highly.
risque.
And nowadays, we're trying to get to that point. But they were doing it in the 70s. Everyone's like, oh, this is new. I'm like, no, in the 70s, they were still trying to do that stuff.
It's just more accepted now.
Yeah, but I love it. I love everything about it. It's hilarious. I still do it sometimes.
So in high school, I would go every other Saturday. They do a midnight showing at a theater up in Clifton, and it was the whole shebang.
It's fun.
We went every time we could.
And younger generations don't really understand or get it. I worked with a kid named Brad, and is it too long?
Let's take a peek at it.
So
that fire's not super hot.
His name's Brad, and I couldn't remember his name. I'm horrible at remembering names. Always have been. Probably always will be. I've been trying to do better.
Let's jump back in there for a little bit longer.
Been trying to do better, but then Brad from Rocky Horror Picture Show. So every time he walked in, I'd go, Brad. He's like, why do you always say it like that? I'm like, really? The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Brad. So one day he came in, like after a year of me doing that. I said, Brad. He goes, Janet. I said, yes.
Got him.
You got it.
I've watched that movie so many times.
And you have to watch because there's so many things in it. Like the beginning has all the characters in it at the wedding that are at Frankenfurter. All of them are the same, but you don't even notice.
The movie's just. We gotta watch this again.
Near the end, I get bored.
Oh, so boring! Like when it turns into aliens and the aliens do their dance or whatever.
But at the beginning part of the movie, in the middle, I love it. It's freaking hilarious. I can quote
good
it all day.
Up until about the time warp. Because it's just a step to the left.
Yeah.
And then it jumps to the right. But after that's over and they all fall on the floor, like, good night, everybody. Let's leave it on the high point. I'm seeing a lot of network thingies. Are we still good over there? Also, any comments, questions, concerns, any jibber jabber chatter? Jibber jabber chatter.
Stream wise, everything looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
And no
Can you hear me?
comments yet.
All right. Well, if you're watching, comment. What do you think about the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I say overrated. He says he loves it.
It's a Halloween must. Same with Halloween Town.
Yes.
And
All
Halloween
of
Town
them?
2. I'll watch them all. Okay.
Yeah.
I used to work nights. So when I work nights, everyone else is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
What do? Well, you could drink, but that's not really healthy.
Hey, apple juice is always very healthy
It
to
is.
drink, and you should drink lots of apple juice.
Too much sugar.
It does have a lot of sugar, but that's fuel for play.
Yeah.
So
then I started to drink water, and then I was like, well, I could really get into like watching movies. So I watched about every streaming service, every movie you could ever possibly imagine. And then after I got bored with it, I started cleaning engines. I just broke my riding mower down and started cleaning it again. Not my riding, but my push mower. It's only 18 years old. So I broke
barely
it all
broken
down.
in.
Broke it all down, changed the oil, getting a new blade for it, clean the inside of the engine bay.
I just put new
That's
blades on
old.
my lawnmower a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
I hit that root over there and bent the ever-loving everything out of one of the blades. And I'm like, I got to get this lawn mowed. It's driving me crazy. So I did the rest of the lawn with it, and I had these big ruts and half moons all across the yard. I chipped up my driveway when I drove over, but I put on fancier blades, so upgraded.
So about every 2 to 3 years, usually 3 years is when I get out of a blade, because every year I take them off and I use my Dremel tool to sharpen them.
Sure.
But now my riding mower, because I put a few things, the edges are, so when you look at it, it's sharp, but the edge is like dented in, and now there's like a small blade of grass on every pass. And I'm like, I just sharpened them, they're fine. I'm like, no, because working with metal, I'm like, that's not how that works.
Well, you can
If
take
it's
them
not a
off,
straight line,
bring them over. We'll heat them up, kill the temper, but we can fix that. We can hit them up and bring them back true on the anvil.
okay,
File it, make it look real nice, and then we can do a quench on it and make it hard again.
that would be fun.
We could renew those blades.
Just for
Let's take
fun.
take like an afternoon.
Okay.
We're probably good. That's not getting much hotter because that fan's down real low. I didn't want us burning stuff like crazy. So like I said, just how would you get colder after this? I don't know. So yeah, just chase those lines that we talked about. Oh, you know what helps with fire is if it has fuel. Need some heat in here. I don't think I can get yelled at for making kind of an accent because I don't think that guy had a real accent.
We need fire.
I need that
Here we
heat
got fire.
in here, man.
What do you think? Pointy? Okay, it's roundish.
Let's look at it over the anvil so I can actually see it there. Ooh, that came out better than the last one. Good job.
Sticky.
All right, so we're going to let this fire rebuild a little bit because we've been jibber-jabbering and others. That's on me. I know. Heavy sigh. Heavy sigh.
Thought it was my fault.
Yeah,
So what we do, here we'll talk about fire management here. So green coal, which is like the stuff we pull right out of that, we always put that around the outside edges,
Okay.
up against the edge of the fire. And while it sits on the edge of the fire, it'll kind of bake and suck the moisture out of it, and it turns into coke.
Okay.
And once it's cooked, see that piece right there, that's coke now.
Okay.
Coke burns really well without giving a bunch of green smoke. So then you push the coke into the fire, and then you bring the green coal to replace the coke, and then that's how you replace your fire.
Okay.
Important stuff.
Am I put this in this way, or where?
No, we're gonna let this fire rebuild because I want to get a little low. Yeah, just set it on the side. I'm gonna crank up this fan a little bit. Put some heat in here. Oh, that mean I got a ding? So if I ever do anything on my phone other than running this app, the stream gets wonky.
Oh.
So that was another learning experience when getting these cameras up and running and stuff.
Always something new to learn.
So now I ignore every text message, every phone call that I get. Somebody couldn't make it to the stream one night, And she knows I go live at 6, and at like 6:02, my phone started ringing.
Okay.
Ignore. Like, you know what's going
It's like
on.
6-ish. It doesn't always start right at 6. So I was like, maybe I can catch him. I didn't.
Yeah.
You did not. We're doing a beginner lesson of S-hooks.
Yep. My first time.
That sucks.
Yep. It's my first time doing it.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
thanks.
Whose dog is that?
She's mine.
Oh.
That's Cam Butt.
What kind of dog is it? What kind of dog?
She's a terrier mix, according to
Terrorist.
A
the
terrorist.
place I adopted her from.
Okay.
So, she's an old lady.
How old?
14?
14. That's like my pure bones.
Yep. She probably saw somebody new. Actually, anytime we're outside, she wants to be outside.
Yeah.
But seeing somebody new on top of it, she's
She's all about it.
Yeah.
Surprised Rosha's not in there barking at me. She always barks at me.
I
No,
said,
she's been one of the barkers.
She just popped her head in the window like a minute or so ago.
They're talking smack in there about me.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Looks like
Watch
that
out for that guy. He smells weird.
So, my cat is here also.
He's
And
upstairs.
He hangs out upstairs, and yeah, he's like almost 3 years old. But last night he was underneath the coffee table up in the lounge, and Rosha was barking at him
And talking,
and
like
talking,
full on Dane.
and like,
Yeah, full on Dane sentences.
and Ronan just sat there. He didn't move. He didn't flinch.
Roche even pounced
Rosha
at him a
like
couple
pounced
of
towards
times.
him, and he just sat there.
Come at me,
Stood there
man.
like a gangster. He didn't even care. It was so great.
And Jesse was downstairs in the shower, and he heard all the ruckus upstairs. He like broadcasted, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yep, we're
Cammy was
good."
barking. Rosha was yelling. I heard her thumpy feet up and down the floor. It's like, is Brittany dead?
She lost control.
Did you? So my dog Frank, you met Frank before, haven't you? He talks. He talks a lot.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, he's learned our language. So we tell him, we're like, "Hey, show us what you want." Because he'll be there and he'll like do the husky. 'Cause he's part husky. "Rah, rah, 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 rah." Show me what you want. Does that with his face. He goes, He'll go over the door and like nose the door and look at us like, "You know what I want." Lots of sass from a husky.
Oh yeah.
So yet last night, same thing. Well, what do you want? He didn't go to the door. He starts going to the other side of the house. I'm like, well, that's new. So he goes through the house, goes through the kitchen, goes to his treats. Tries to look at me.
Excuse me.
I'm like, what? Well, I did ask, so I guess you're gonna get one.
And you did tell me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't.
So what do you want? He went straight to his treats. He knew where they were, what shelf they were on.
He was
Just
feeling a
looks
little
at 'em.
snacky. Who doesn't feel a little snacky in the evening?
I know. I'm like, all right, kid, you get what you want.
yeah.
Rosho did the same thing. She gets all yelling and pouncing at me. It's like, okay, Rosha, what is it that you want? If she goes over and kicks the front door, okay, let's go outside.
That's all right.
She goes and kicks the kitchen door. It's like, all right, let's go get a snack. That sounds good.
Snacks. I always love snacks.
Right,
Cammy.
that's eating up real nice. So we're gonna jump into our next step here,
Okay.
which this takes finesse. You got to be real gentle with it. Don't
I'm
just-
good at that.
that's why I'm warning you ahead of time.
At least you have someone to blame it on.
I'm tired. I just smash things.
All right, so we're gonna hang the edge, the pointy bit, off the edge of the anvil.
Okay.
You can do as much or as little as you want. I don't care, but I'm gonna do about that much.
Ooh, that's really light.
You see, I did that
Yeah.
down, and then just chased it to the anvil. Then up against the edge of the anvil, so we end up with something like this. Then we're gonna do a sweeping motion.
Okay.
And hammer back towards ourselves, and we get it to lay over. I'll show you to switch my camera, and then boom, we're just putting a little loop in the end. Just a little loop. Nothing fancy. I'm gonna set that off to the side. So
Ready?
we'll switch the camera for you this time. So hang it off the edge of the anvil, and then just not on the anvil, hammer off on the end, so your hammer's not touching the anvil at all. Yep. Keep it going. Keep it going. Yep. Just follow it around. Now when you get to about there, you can hold it up against the side, and then just give it a few smacks. There you go. Now rotate it around 180 degrees so it's standing proud, and then just give it a couple of sweeping blacks. Yeah, just like that. Just kind of follow it around until it makes a loop. There you go. Yeah, I like it. Are you like it?
Sure.
Cool. All right, we're gonna jump back in the fire there, but I think we're gonna go on the other side. Yep. Here in a minute, it's gonna get real awkward to hold on to.
That's what you're saying?
Yes, please. Yeah.
It's a good looking puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Mastiff?
never seen that puppy before.
Yeah,
it
I've
looks
not
like
seen that guy or that puppy before.
Looks like a mastiff, like a boxer mix or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
His
yeah.
weird.
face was very boxerish.
Yeah, I've never seen that guy or that dog in this neighborhood.
You didn't get to meet him, but we had a dog named Tank.
He was a big boy.
He was when we got him, he was about 200 pounds. He was overweight. We got him down to 180. He was just a massive, massive, big brindle mastiff.
Like Rocha's chin would probably rest on the top of his head, but he was like
Big.
2.5
And
times
he'd
Rocha's
he'd
width.
go on 5K runs with me.
He was a beast.
But my run, which back then was pretty fast, was his like saunter. He just
You can go for a
walk
stroll.
beside me and like look at me the whole time. I'm like, really, really,
We go
dude?
faster.
It was fun to watch him run in the backyard because you could tell when he wanted to stop,
Yeah.
but he kept moving. Like you could, he
So it was in the wintertime, and he sounded like a horse. He was so big. Doodle, doodle, doodle. And he's running towards my wife. We know that he can't slow down. I said, "Watch out!" Just as like Tank hits her, and it was like Charlie Brown. Like she did a flip in the air, and then like did. Like, you okay? She's just busted out laughing. She's like, "I'm Charlie Brown." Oh,
did she yell? Oh, when she did it.
yes, she did.
Hi, Annette. We're not making fun of you. Maybe a little, but he started it. All right, so we're gonna
But it's my
do.
fault. So it's fine.
It is
Right.
her fault. It's her
My
fault.
fault.
Oh, it's Brittany's fault.
Can
Why'd you knock
throw
her
me
down?
that water?
Thank you for not actually throwing it. So what we're gonna do this time? I always screw this up, but we're gonna curl it the opposite direction.
Opposite.
I always get that backwards. I almost grabbed that with my hands. I'm so used to having a glove on or working with really long pieces.
I definitely would laugh at you, but then grab the first aid it. Yeah.
I mean,
I've burned myself plenty of times.
the intrusive thoughts definitely won a couple weeks ago. Jesse handed me a piece of metal and with the tongs, and the other side was black. And I was like, "It's been sitting out for a minute, but it was not." I like went to grab it, and like just barely touched me. And Jesse goes, "Why did you do that?" And I'm like,
I don't know.
"I don't know."
Because you handed it to me. It's your fault.
We had to make a rule at Paul's shop that we were working on a piece, and we were talking about what we were working on, and I set it down on this metal table, and we went to discussing what we were talking about, and we talked for about 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, just like I did on this piece. Like, threw it across the shop, burned the heck out of my fingers. He's like, that was still hot. Yeah, it was.
Sure was.
He's like, we need a designated spot for hot metal, and so we designated this one shelf that if there's anything on the shelf, it's hot, it's going to burn you, don't touch it.
Right.
So then we started separating cold pieces from hot pieces, so it's, you know, klutzes like me who always find a way to hurt ourselves, I'll burn myself.
Where do you find anvils?
Well,
Because I was kind of looking to get a setup at my house since I have a huge yard, and I got a vise, and I've got a little grinder, but anvils were a little harder to find. Now I do have an in at a railroad place,
we should go visit there. I could go for some more springs.
but they have a lot of stuff that they're allowed to give me. I wrote I signed the paperwork, but I heard that you can get like a piece of like railroad to act as an anvil.
Yeah, you can use a railroad track.
Okay.
People will buy like a chunk and then they'll cut a horn into it and they do all this dressing with a grinder and make it anvil shaped.
Okay.
I've never used one, so I can't speak to that's a good idea. I know people do it a lot, but people do a lot of dumb things all the time. I don't know. This one came from the blacksmith shop in Atlanta, Indiana, Custom Blacksmithing.
Okay.
Kurt was like, "Heard you got a forge." Yep, when I got that one. I said, "Sure did." He goes, "Got an anvil yet?" I said, "Nope." He goes, "Do you want that one?" I said, "The one with the tire?" He goes, "Yeah." "How much?" And I can't remember the number, but it was a very, very fair price for kit and caboodle. I said, "Cool, I'll bring you cash next week." He's like, "Got your truck?" He goes, I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, let's throw it in your truck now." All right, so that's how I got mine.
Nice.
I have been looking on Facebook Marketplace, lots of anvils, but you got to be careful and not burn your keys. I feel like we're jibber jabbering for a long time. That's good enough to work with. So now I'm going to pay attention to where that other doodad is.
Okay.
So you see the other curl is up. So this one I'm going to knock down. Again, just kind of paint it down against the edge. Flip it. Now another fun trick there, if you wanted to make that a little bit tighter, but you can't get your hammer in there, find a sharp edge on the anvil and give it another smack there. Remember, your anvil is a tool. It's not a workbench. It's an actual tool.
Okay.
So let me just get that down. So go ahead and do the same thing. Just make sure you get your curls opposite of each other. Yep, just smack it off the edge there. Yep, just like that. You'll bring it back and smack it against the anvil. Yep, just like that. Keep it going. Doing great. Cool. Roll it over. Now paint it back. Yep, just like that. Yeah, no shame in choking up on the hammer. Now get back down to what's up. Look at that. Got ourselves a little loop in there. So now put it in the fire, kind of like how I got mine sitting there. So something to watch out for on Marketplace is someone will have an anvil, probably of this size, that looks like someone wrapped a chain around it and then drove it around the 465 a couple of times.
Okay.
And then it'll be like $1,300. No. So you got to look real closely at the pictures. You don't want to see a lot of dents and nicks and cracks like that one. This is well used and it's a mild steel anvil, so it's not hardened. So it's going to have a little bit more problems, which is fine. But yeah, just pay attention real close to how dinged up it is. I can't remember what it is, but I think a fair market price about a year and a half ago was about $4 a pound.
Wow. Okay.
So I think it was $3 or $4 a pound. I don't remember. If you're in the comment section, correct me. I don't remember. I don't deal with a lot of anvils. But yeah, so just find yourself one on Marketplace. This is not a great post because it's going to bounce a lot. What some people do is they'll get some like 4x4s. They'll get 4 of them and stack them together, band them, and then put the anvil on top of it. You get a good solid thing.
Okay.
You also want to, if you have a more sturdy thing like that, you want to wrap chain around it because that'll take some of the ring out of it. When you hit it, ding, everyone can hear you. I got enough bounce that I don't think it rings too bad.
Okay. Seeing where they put it on top of like just large pieces of wood, like a big tree.
Oh yeah, tree stumps are
and
very common, and that's handy because you got that tree stump. You can make driven hooks and nail hooks into it and hang all your tools from it. So it's very handy to do it that way. I had another point I was going to make, but I can't remember what that was now. Also magnets. You can stick a powerful magnet on the inside. That'll take some of the reverb out as well. Oh, hammers. You don't want to use like a cast, like a claw hammer. You can. It's hard. You can move metal with it, but you want a forged hammer. So you can find those for about $8 at various hardware stores. It'll look something like that.
Okay.
This hammer was the first hammer the blacksmith that trains me. This is our first hammer.
Nice.
So this hammer he got when he was 10.
Wow.
So it's a 52-year-old hammer. It was my first hammer. It's been through a lot.
Wear safety goggles.
Oh yeah, we should have made you wear goggles. I should have made you put on goggles, but I forgot. That's on me.
I signed a waiver.
Yeah, so we're good. But yeah, you can get a hammer like that for like $8.
Okay.
Like True Hardware or whatever, and get started. Then when you get good, make your own hammer. It's fun and a lot of hard work. Tongs, you can buy those anywhere. You can get rapid tongs, which are tong blanks on Amazon for like $30. You get like 7 pairs of tongs.
Okay.
Then you just finish them. Or you can start with spring steel and make them yourself. But then they'll look like that if you're not good at it, like I am. Or you can get Tommy tongs.
It's like a special duck.
Yeah, it's certainly special. These are the second tongs I ever made. They're rough. I'm terrible at tongs and I hate making them. But yeah, you can also get tongs from various suppliers on the internet. And then you just jump in. Like, you're doing pretty well. This is like your first time blacksmithing. You're keeping up just fine. This is the whole point of doing these beginner lessons on the stream, to show how accessible
it is.
Brittany has barely ever swung a hammer at anything in her life. I put her down here and she knocked out a beautiful S-hook.
Yeah.
On her second time on the stream, she knocked out a penny scroll from memory.
Nice.
This here is a penny scroll.
Nice.
She watched me and Levi make them one time, and she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do that. And then she did. She made a beautiful one.
Very nice. I'm a big fan of yours. I watch you on the show all the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next
Long-time
week,
listener, first-time caller.
hopefully, I'll be
Autographs
using,
are $10. She even charges me for them.
hopefully next week I'll be using my own hammer.
Nice.
Yeah, we're finishing her hammer tomorrow.
Nice. I saw your hammer. It looks very nice.
Very excited
So
to get a handle on that thing.
what we're going to do here is we're going to put in our big old S-hook bend.
Okay.
Now, something to keep in mind is we don't want to collapse our little loop there.
Yeah.
So we're going to quench just the loop.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Okay.
And then we're going to come out here onto the edge of the horn. We're going to hang it off. And boom. We're going to just going to fall it on over.
Okay.
And what's great, at some point here in a second, that's going to get awkward to hit like that. So then we come around to the other side. And hammer back onto itself. Which helps if you hit the metal. And you can close that loop as much as you want. If you want to close it more, just give it a smack.
Okay.
Bada bing. So that's our next step.
Okay. Let's do this here. Nice little... Okay.
So quench the tip.
Clench the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
And then we're going to hold it so that the loop is up high.
Okay.
There you go. Then we're going to come out here to the very thin part of the thing. And as big as you want that hook to be is going to be how long you hold it out.
Like
Go
that.
this way a little bit more. There
Okay.
you go. And hang on real tight because it's going to want to come out of your hand. Yep, keep giving it. Keep chasing it. Doing great. Now, yep, go around to the other side of the anvil. So go underneath.
Ah. Okay.
And then hammer back against yourself. If it's getting too hard to move, we can heat that back up. It's no
Oh,
problem.
I should heat it back.
Yeah, go ahead and just put the bend.
It is
in
a
the
little
front.
weird.
It is. It's awkward. Excuse me. So yeah, we'll let that bend. If you kind of dig that bend in the fire a little bit, it'll heat up a little bit quicker.
So what do you prefer to work with? Did you say propane or
Coal.
coal?
Almost always coal. I like that you can be very selective as to where you put your heat. Like if you have a 3-foot piece and you only want the very middle to be hot, you can put it in the fire the right way. But if you throw that in a gas forge, you're going to heat up the whole dang thing.
Yeah.
A nice thing about gas forges or propane forges, you can put a piece in there and go have lunch. I wouldn't advise it. Don't do that. But you could go have lunch and come back, and your piece will still be there. And when you hit it, it'll throw scale everywhere and burn the heck out of you. Scale is all this metal flake that we're knocking out. But if you were to put a piece of metal in a coal forge and go to lunch, you'll come back to melted steel in the forge.
Okay.
So that's, one of those give and takes. When it comes to welding, I prefer doing it in a coal forge because you can control the heat a lot better. You can control the heat in a gas forge, but I just like the more finer tuning of coal.
Okay.
Which is funny, when I first started, we used this gas forge that's probably about this long, and that thing will chase you out of the room, and it's going full blast. It'll be snowing outside, you'll go outside and stand in the snow. So hot. And that's what I started off using. It's like, man, this is awesome. Move this steel like crazy. Like, okay, we're welding, so you have to use coal, and I just kept melting my pieces like crazy. And every time they're like, all right, use a coal forge. I don't want to. But after about the 4th or 5th time, it's like, hey, I'm getting the hang of this coal thing. Like, this is kind of exciting.
Okay.
I remember I was so excited. My first project I did in a coal forge that I didn't burn at all. I was so excited about that. Like, yeah, I made it the whole night without burning my steel. Go ahead and grab your piece there and finish off that bend.
Okay. Does that look good?
Yeah. So put that crook of that bend right there at the bottom of the horn, and then hammer back to yourself. It's awkward. Yep, you got it. That look about right? You tell me. It's your hook.
Yeah.
Cool. Put the other side in the fire, and we'll do the other bend.
Pretty sure that was the exact same reaction that I had when you said that. Does it look great? Yeah.
It's funny. I've taught a few people. Last time we had a beginner's class, I helped teach the whole class. It was like 6 or 7 weeks long. And almost every beginner, it's like, is that enough? You tell me. Is it enough? 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, I think that's good enough. All right, your piece, man. I don't care. You do you. Like, I'm not the one that's going to take it home and, hang it up on the wall. You are. All right, cool. I think I'm hot enough to do some damage here. So now here's a fun thing I'm going to show you real quick. So you see there's like a gap right there?
Yeah.
Put the hook inside that gap.
Oh.
And that'll be easier to hold on to. Just like that. You want to quench that tip. Doop. Forgot to switch my camera again. Not exactly symmetrical, but these things happen.
Yeah. So,
voila, one S hook. Switch the camera for that. Bada bing, one S hook. And I will put that right there.
Very nice.
You just follow along and do the exact same thing. Yeah, we'll let it go a little bit longer. Make sure you get a good long soak in there so you can maybe get the bend done in one heat. But if it takes more than one, there's no shame in that. Never any shame in taking a couple more heats just to make it look nice.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
So what would you say is the hardest thing you have made?
Hammer.
Okay.
That was a lot of work. I was sore. I had no more grip strength by the time we got to the end of it. It's a lot of hard work. And when we got to the end, it's like,
just because it's so big, like so heavy.
It's heavy. It's awkward. The kind of tongs you use to hold on to it, and you got to do a lot of flipping and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very dexterously challenging. It's very hard work. It's very hot work.
Yeah, I don't think you're grabbing it with these tongs, are you?
No, not at all. There's a,
Take that, hammer.
yeah.
Sorry.
It's a good thing that was my fault.
Didn't want to smash the little cameras there.
Yeah, that's all right. Who needs those lights? So yeah, it's just a lot of hard work. It's incredibly rewarding and it's great to do. It's not difficult work. It's just hard work. If that makes sense. That's the thing I'm most proud of.
That's pretty cool. Now, did you put your initials in that?
No, because I didn't have a touch mark at the time,
Okay.
and we hardened it, and we were like, "Oh, we didn't touch mark that." Nope, it's hardened now. Can't do it now. It'll ruin your touch marks.
I used the small pointer that you made for my fire.
Huh?
Almost every week.
It's a great
At
little.
least once a week. It's my favorite one. The big one is nice. I use it for the big fire. You made like a 4 foot.
Yeah, it's about 4 foot long.
The only thing is the end of it doesn't match the weight of the front. So like.
Oh yeah, I was gonna make you like a chain weight or something. Yeah, I forgot I was gonna make something.
The small one is like perfectly balanced. It's pretty awesome.
I'm pretty proud of that small one,
and I've used the bottle opener on the back, and
I figured that you're always out there drinking those glass bottled root beers.
Yep.
That are not twist off.
Yep.
So I made him a fire poker. What'd you say, about that long or so?
About that, yeah.
For his little fire pit thing on his porch, and they're always drinking root beer out there. So in the curve on the back where you could hang it up, I put a bottle opener in there, so you never have to look for a bottle opener. Because, you know, those IBC and those Brigger root beers, I don't think you can twist those off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was thinking ahead on that one.
Sassafras root beers. I love sassafras.
Those are yummy.
They're delicious.
I would say the one thing with the hammer, which is probably the most intimidating thing, is having somebody swing a sledgehammer right past your head.
So that's one of the fun parts. That she's right. So the first thing you do, you have a cylinder of steel that's uniform all the way around. First thing you do is you punch the hole through the middle, which takes several heats. And what you do is you get it super hot, and it takes a long time because you want that heat to soak all the way to the center. So then you're holding it with a pair of these tongs that don't have grips. They're just like little pads.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding it with these awkward tongs, and then you have another handle tool, it's called a top tool, that's got your punch on it. And so you hold it, and some dude will stand there with a sledgehammer, wham, and slam it. And then you flip it around, put it back, wham, with the sledgehammer. So you're holding it here, and the sledgehammer's going right here. It's very scary to have a big dude swinging the sledgehammer right next to your head.
Shout out Rob.
Rob,
thanks for that.
Absolute machine. He could swing his sledgehammer all day long.
And Jesse.
I can't keep up with Rob.
You hit for me a few times.
Yep. I did. It was a lot of fun. I felt it the next day. Quench your tip.
Quench the tip.
Just the tip.
Okay. So here on the edge.
And pick how far you want back you want to go. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. Keep it going. I give it a few more smacks on that side. It'll be less awkward. Hold it up against the anvil. That'll make it more effective. It's awkward.
It is very awkward. Now I'm getting cold.
Yeah, let's get it. That's not one of them. Well, let's move it a little bit. Let's get it hot. Oh yeah, power right through it. You got it. What do you think?
I think it looks all right.
Awesome. Can you present to that camera right there real quick when you're done cleaning it up?
Yeah. Let's see here.
There you go. Don't get too close and burn my camera. There you go.
First one.
Yeah. Nice little hook there. Ooh.
This is like really symmetrical too.
Very.
Yeah, it's a problem I have. Everything has to be clean and neat.
Yeah. All right. First S hook under the books there.
Woo!
What are your thoughts? Was that a difficult task?
Wasn't, but I can definitely feel in like
Yeah.
my wrists. I'm not used to that kind of movement. Hammer I'm used to because of my working out and stuff. But like that,
Yeah.
I can feel it right here. You can see my vein popping out from.
It's awkward. You're like, you'll feel it later. You'll wake up in the middle of the night and you'll be like, hey, why does that hurt? All right, so we made an S hook. Do you want to make a little garment hook thing like that?
Sure.
You down for a new challenge?
Yeah.
I always bring up the penny scroll. That's what that is right there.
Yeah.
I love making penny scrolls. They're
What's
easy and they're fun.
What does a penny scroll do?
Whatever you want it to do. I use it as the base of my cigar rest.
Okay.
Brimstoneforge.us. You can get one yourself. It's much nicer than this one. Penny scroll, it's really just decorative, but something that you have to keep in mind, and I often fail at this. You see there's a little hole in the middle there?
Yeah.
You gotta make sure you keep that so you can put a nail through it, hang it on your wall.
Oh.
I've got one in there on the wall that I hang my hat from every day.
Oh. Well, yeah, let's do it.
Cool. All right, well, we got this big stick of metal here. I'll chop it down for us.
How long does it take the metal to cool so I can put it in my truck?
I will throw it in the water and then you'll be set.
Okay.
I wouldn't throw that S hook in there right now, though.
No. On the way over here, I may have skirted my tires more than once. I'm not used to...
What, were you running from the police or something?
No. I just... The traffic in downtown Indianapolis is a little crazy. And I was trying to go across a road that didn't have a light. And I'm not used to the power of my truck. I had a 5.3 before. It was a pickup truck. It had no power whatsoever. That thing, however, has a lot of power. And I tapped the gas and my whole back wheels went skirt. And I went across like a bad person across the road. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
That's an unsafe start.
It wasn't on purpose.
Get a lot of smoke here. I'm rebuilding this fire front next to
Is that what you meant by green smoke?
That is what I meant by green. It's a little bit brown at the moment, but you can see plenty of green in there.
Okay.
So I'm just popping some air holes in there so she can breathe.
When you're doing that, I'm going to sit down for a second.
Yeah, have a sec.
I've been standing all day.
I haven't.
That'll be the first thing Jesse does when he
Ow. Yeah, that S-hook was I liked it. It was good.
It's fun.
And something I'll use. I'll take it home and I'll put it right on. We have a plant rack that goes across.
Yeah.
Hang it right on the plant rack. There you go. You ever had the police called on you?
Nope.
For the smoke? Like someone thinks your house on fire or something?
So, I won't say any details to keep things pleasant, but every Sunday, that sun is right in a great spot there. So every Sunday, somebody on the next street over blasts a radio station at full volume.
Yeah.
And when the people on this radio station are talking, I can hear the murmurs of their voice in my living room while I'm watching TV.
Wow.
And if I can come outside, I can understand every word the dude's saying. I'm half deaf and I can understand it.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. How rude is that?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to listen to your radio show every weekend,
Every
right?
Sunday.
Early in the morning too. It's just, I hate it. But then I get to thinking, it's Monday evening. Everyone just got home from work and they want to relax, and I'm out of here. Wham, wham, wham. Hey, everybody, look at me do this thing. Wham. So I'm sure I'm just as annoying and terrible as they are.
I like like the leather. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There we go. Need some heat in here. Hey, thank you very much, Brittany. Oh, for the record, it's a blue can. It's a Pepsi. Hey, Pepsi, send me a case, would you? Funny story. I used to do technical support back in the very beginning of my career for at-home workers. This was back in 2006, 2007, so working from home wasn't that common. But these people would get a Linksys wireless router, their work laptop, a couple of network cables, and some other bits and pieces. And they would call us up, and it was our job to walk them through getting that stuff set up.
Okay.
And this one lady called up, and I'm like, hey, thank you for calling. I don't remember what we were called for these people. But, how can I help you? She's like, hey, Jesse, I'm so-and-so, and I brought up her case. She's like, if you're bringing up my case, you'll see that you're the fourth person I've called to get this set up. I'm hoping you're the last person I have to call to get this set up. Like, sounds like a challenge. She's like, no one else has been able to figure it out. Can you? And she worked for Pepsi and Frito-Lay, like, whatever. And I'm like, if I get this working in one phone call, you're going to send me, like, a couple of cases of Pepsi or something? Or, like, once a month send me a case of Pepsi to me in my friend's apartment? She's like, I can't do that, but I'll hook you up with some stuff. I was like, let's dig in.
This.
So half hour later, she's completely up and running. Everything is perfect. She's singing my praises. She's like, all right, Jesse, what's your address? I'm like, why? And I had forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Right? I was just being boastful. So I'm like, why? She's like, I'm sending you some stuff. I'm like, look, I'll get in trouble. I can't. She's like, you're giving me your address, Jesse. I can't do that. She's like, look, I will call back and talk to a manager and tell them you're difficult and then get the address from them. So what do you want to do? It's like, all right, I'm mad. I'm not going to say the address of the place. Like, I don't care. It's in Carmel. But anyways, I rattle off the address. She's like, all right, cool. Thanks, Jesse. Have a great night. I'm like, you too. Bye. Completely forget about it, right?
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, my boss, not just my boss, but the boss over the entire call center, appears at my desk and leans over the wall and says, hey, Jesse. I said, hey, Charles, what can I do for you? He goes, no, apparently I'm doing something for you. What are you doing for me? He goes, and drops this huge box on the cue ball. He goes, why are you getting love letters? Like, what the heck is that? He's like, well, it's from Josephine so-and-so from Frito-Lay. I was like, are you serious? He's like, what is this? I'm like, well, I told a lady if I could get her set up because I was the fourth person, if she'd send me stuff, and apparently she did. He's like, really? So I sat on the floor and cracked it open. The thing was bursting at the seams of like the vending machine style bags of chips and cookies and like those oatmeal things that you pour hot water in. Like, she had me set with all the snacks that Frito-Lay does. I was like, heck yeah. My entire bottom drawer was nothing but snacks.
You were King Geek for a long time.
Oh, I loved it. It was awesome.
King of the Lab.
I was killing it. That was so much fun. Another time doing that job, I was talking to a lady up in Chicago. I'm like, man, I've always been wanting to get up there to Chicago to go see the House of Blues. She goes, oh, a couple of months ago, me and my husband went to the House of Blues. Really, what was it like? She's like, you're not going to believe me. I'm like, lay it on me. She goes, we were sitting at a table right next to the stage. It was just me and my husband, and there was 2 empty seats, and this black gentleman walked up and tapped me on the shoulder and said, do you mind if my wife and I sit down at your table with you for a few minutes? And she goes, yeah, absolutely, without even looking up. Right? She's like, yeah, have a seat. B.B. King and his wife sat down at her table.
That would be amazing.
What?
That would be awesome.
I would have just died. I would have fallen out of my seat. Like,
and you don't want to be like, can I get your picture?
Yeah, no, you just gotta play that cool.
Gotta be cool.
Yeah. Like, I would have been on the news. Local tourist passes out at the House of Blues when he sees the greatest blues singer of all time. Let's point and laugh at this nerd, you know? Like, but yeah, that's wild.
That's awesome. So you gotta get this super hot.
Well, not super hot, just hot enough. It's just going slow because I just rebuilt the fire. I'm going to get it hot enough that I can cut through it. And then I'll cut off 2 chunks, one for you, one for me. And I'll walk you through a penny scroll. Okay. It'll be fun.
I'll check my phone real quick. My wife had a workout today.
You mean she's not at home watching the stream?
No.
Lame. You're going to make her watch it later, though, right?
Absolutely. you watch a stream while on a stream, commenting on a stream?
From your phone, you can.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Go for it. It's good for the algorithm. But yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel and then click on the live
I see
tab.
you.
Oh, turn down your sound. That drives me nuts. But yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel and you click on the live thing,
Okay.
it'll show all the past live streams because I haven't edited them and moved them over into the normal things yet. It's taking forever to heat up.
After her workout, I told her to get on there and comment.
Excellent.
Oh, I should probably tell her to keep it PC. Family channel.
Family friendly. Keep Brittany company in the house.
Yes, everybody should keep Brittany company in the comments. Everybody jump in there and start flooding the comment section. Tell Brittany your favorite banana nut bread recipe.
Let me tell you a story.
Line by line.
My wife is not a baker. She made banana nut bread one time. No, it was zucchini bread. Zucchini bread, not banana. She made banana nut bread too. Because we had zucchini in the garden. She wanted to make bread with it. It's the first time she'd ever done it. And to me, being the awesome husband I am, I wanted to try it out and say how great it was. She put baking soda in it
Oh,
in a large amount. And I put it in my mouth. I'm like, okay, well, in our house, we have a rule. You got to try it twice to see if you really like it or not. Okay. So I'm like, she's like, what do you think? Is it great? And I'm like, I look at her and I look down at it and I go, well, let me try it one more time. Maybe it just got me, you know? And so I try it one more time and I take off to the bathroom. I start like brushing my teeth out because it was so bad. And
is it like really gritty?
it baking soda, like it tasted like unrefined toothpaste. It was horrible. It was a horrible, horrible taste. 5 seconds later, I don't even get a chance to explain it. She's in the bathroom with me, also scrubbing her tongue with her toothbrush. She's like, I thought you were just being rude. I'm like, no.
Yeah, because you're unnecessarily rude all the time.
Yeah. She's like, I was so sad that I tried. I was like, oh, this is miserable. This is horrible. Dumped the whole thing in the trash. She made it again, though, and it was fantastic. It's the best zucchini bread I'd ever had.
It reminds me of people that, like, when recipes say, like, a pinch of salt, they think a pinch is, like...
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a teaspoon, and she put, like, a tablespoon or something. It might as well have been a half a cup because it was bad. It was real bad.
Back in, let's not say any names, but back in like 07, 08, I was dating this broad. And she woke me up one morning by jumping on the bed and shaking me. And I opened my eyes and she's right here. She goes, I want to make banana nut bread today. Let's go to the store. I'm like, who are you? Like, why are you in my face? So anyways, we get up, we go to Meijer, we get all this stuff. She is like dancing through the aisles and picking up stuff. It was like shopping with Mary Poppins, right?
Wow, okay.
And so we get all the stuff. We go back to the apartment. I'm like, well, you have fun. And I fired up my Xbox and started playing Halo 3. Back then, my end table was a mini fridge. So I had Balls, which is an old, awesome drink, and Mountain Dew Red. So I'm just drinking, playing Halo 3, having a blast, and she's in there making a mess of things and just having a blast. She's got music going real loud and just having a blast in there. And she keeps buzzing out, oh, it's going to be so good, it's going to be so good. Then I hear her throw it in the oven. She comes out, it's going to be so good, it's going to be so good. She sat on the couch, I'm playing. Ding! She springs from the couch and goes bounding like a gazelle into the kitchen. Hear the clatter of it coming out. Hear it go plop on the counter, and I hear, oh no. like the most dejected person in the world. And I'm like, like what's going on? And so I go sheepishly walking up to the kitchen, and I look in, and she's standing there, just crestfallen, dying inside. She pulled the bread out of the oven and set it on the counter right next to the bananas so she could cut it. She made nut bread. She forgot to put the bananas in, and she was so bad. And so I thought I would be helpful. And I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with this. So I walk in, I peel a banana, cut a piece off, and smear the banana across the bread, take a bite. Banana nut bread food me. And I walk out. She's like, you're such a jerk. It's like, I'm trying to help.
I was trying to help.
But yeah, the look on her face was just priceless. So, like I said before, when we cut things on the hot cut, we cut to the center, and we never cut all the way through.
Okay.
Because then it'll go flying off and chunk metal across the shop. And I've heard of people, I've not seen it personally, but I've heard of people getting kicked out of shops for launching hot tools or hot metal across the shop.
Okay.
So what's exciting about what we're getting ready to embark on is it starts off exactly like the Essex.
Okay.
Which is why this is a nice follow-up, fun activity to Essex, is we're going to square, taper, round. And this time when we start doing that loop, we're going to curl it over and then get it hot and then curl it over it again. And then get it hot and curl it over again. So it's just a gradual process to wrap that up.
See if that actually got hot. You're putting hot metal on it.
It'll get warm on the top if you're doing a lot of work, but we've been so sporadic. It's not going to. Anvils are just a big heat sink.
Yeah.
So you'll see lots of people when they're hitting, they'll hit it and come up with the hammer in a way so the metal's not sitting on the anvil getting all the heat sucked out of it. Usually you do that when you're upsetting. You just kind of do it like that so then you keep more heat in the metal and it doesn't just get dissipated.
Ooh, I like to do every day. Sorry, I'm all tired today. I've been busy since 5 a.m. this morning.
I've been up since like 6.
You got up at 6?
7. It wasn't on purpose. I do this thing now where I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. and then I'll be up till about 7:30 and then I fall asleep and then my alarm goes off at 8.
Oh.
But the way that sun's dropping, I don't know if we'll get through this, but we can get started.
All right. I'm here to learn, man. Just have fun.
We can at least do the penny scroll part and then hook it later.
Yeah. I gotta
What time is it?
Downtown Indy tomorrow again, pretty early. Not at 5 a.m., but still gotta get up. I try to do my workouts in the morning when I wake up. However, this morning I just didn't want to wake up. I woke up at 4:50, my alarm went off, and I said, nah.
Do it later.
I don't have to be up this early to be at work, so I'm just going to chill out, hang out in bed for a while. My wife calls it Perkel Dirkling. Perkel Dirkling. It's an actual German word.
I've heard of that.
Perkel Dirkle. It means to aimlessly scroll, I think. So I'm not sure. Someone can correct me on that. But my wife does it all the time. So Perkel Dirkling. And I have started to do it when I have time. So this morning I woke up, Perkel for a few minutes, went back to bed for another hour, and then woke up.
Yeah, somebody this morning was extra lazy and noticed that somebody else got out of bed and then somebody's currently yappy dog yapped at her.
So make it square.
I ignored it.
And then when you're happy with how square it is, start working that taper.
hard to get it like.
Yeah, it takes some practice to find that 90, especially when you're holding awkward tongs.
Also, I feel like getting used to using tongues
Good start.
early on is
Wise.
better than not. When I decided that I wanted to make my own hammer, I hadn't really been using tongs, and so like I could get it squared off when I was just using my hand, but using the tongs like threw it off for me.
Okay.
So I feel like getting used to using tongs is probably better starting out than in my opinion.
Yeah, my first day blacksmithing, we used tongs because we made less hooks. Then the second thing we made were punches and chisels, and then tongs, forged welded chain. Probably one more heat on that to make it ready. What's fun is people like myself, I got into blacksmithing because I wanted to make knives.
Yeah.
But I learned industrial blacksmithing, making tools, and then also doing some decorative work. And I'm much happier I went the full blacksmith route and not just the knife maker route because I'm a much more versatile smith now. Plus, by the time you've made S-hooks and chisels and punches, you've learned everything you need to know about making a knife as far as shaping them out. They're hot. Need some heat in here. I'll work that taper a little bit pointier if you were to ask me.
Okay.
Because the finer you get that point, the more pronounced your circle. Yeah, that hole will be on the inside.
You said something about punching it.
Well, you don't punch it. If you make the hole big enough to begin with, then you can just run a nail right through the inside,
Okay.
and then you're set. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I forgot to change my camera again. But yeah, we got a nice round, pointy taper. Taper. Give me that taper.
Deeper.
See, I knew you'd get that reference. I brought that up on a
World.
Yeah. Well, the children that hang out on my stream had not seen that movie.
What movie?
Waterworld.
I've seen it. I saw it when we had that conversation. I just hadn't seen it in a really long time.
Remember we worked our taper at the end of the envelope? There you go. Tip's looking pretty good, but you got some high ridges out in the back. I'd get it real good and hot and probably get that done in one heat. Then I'm going to show you the next step. And then the next step, and so on and so forth, and you'll be able to catch up to the couple. Never mind. We'll stand here and talk for a minute. So yeah, Waterworld, incredibly bad movie, but incredibly enjoyable movie.
It is. Just to watch it. If you just watch it, to watch a movie. Kevin Costner, there's not really anything he's ever been in that I don't enjoy watching.
Postman.
I like Postman.
Really?
It's fine.
That movie, I watched it as a teenager, and it ended. And I looked across the living room at my dad, and my dad looked at me, and he's like, "That stunk on ice." Yep, and then I went upstairs and played video games. Like, that's as much discussion as needed.
I enjoyed it. And then Wyatt Earp. That's a good one that he played in.
Yep.
Yellowstone.
Love me some Yellowstone. He's got a new thing out.
Did you ever watch 1892?
I've seen all of the Yellowstone stuff that's available to be streamed. So all three of the shows.
So I like the 1892. I think that's what's called.
That was with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I hated
Whether
the
you
ending.
like it or didn't like it, it was the best show I'd ever seen in my lifetime as far as a TV show. And then I watched Yellowstone. I thought Yellowstone sucked. I watched the first 3 seasons and was like, nah, I could do without. And I stopped watching it. But I watched 1892 first and was expecting it to be as good.
That's why it failed. If you started at Yellowstone, you'd like it more.
Yeah.
So here's my problem. Spoiler alert. 83,
83, something like that. 18 something.
I enjoyed it. It was really enjoyable. I liked it. It was good. I would recommend it to a friend. You should watch it to your friend. I recommended it. But my problem was, I can't even remember her name. That little tart, that tiny little child. She falls in love with a cattleman. I love you. I love you. You're the best. Oh, you're the best. Brr, brr, brr. I'm going to die to protect you. Like, it happens over, 3 episodes, but they're like an hour and a half long. But anyways, they fall in love, and they get married, and he gives his life to save her. And then, 2 episodes later, she's wildly in love with some Native American dude. And then she stays with the Native American dude for a couple episodes. And then they're like, okay, bye. And then she goes off and dies. And then she meets the Indian guy in the afterlife, and they go off to roam the prairie together forever. What happened to the poor cattle rancher that gave his life for her? That just
Spoiler alert.
I started with spoiler alert, but it just really burned my.
I think it's probably one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'm not a big emotional kind of guy, and that show got me every single episode.
It was a rough show. It was good though.
But it was more realistic, and they brought people in to be true to the time period and stuff that happened, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen the 1923 yet. I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it's so good. And the entire season is just our heroes, if you will, just getting kicked in the jimmies the entire season. It's like, is there going to be a happy episode? Just constant, shots to the jimmies through the whole show. And it ends on this huge cliffhanger that you want to dive into the screen and, help. Because it's like, no, you don't end like that. And I just read a headline the other day. I couldn't bring myself to read the article because the headline made me so mad. It's like season 2, the final season, is coming out soon. And it's even rougher than the first season. How can this get worse and still be watchable? So I'm very excited.
See, I don't like shows like that. I want a good, happy ending.
You're going to be very disappointed by the ending of the first season. Then. All right, so check this out here. We're going to do it just like we did on the S-hooks.
Okay.
I'm going to give myself a little bit more room than I normally do because you don't want that. That loop is going to close a little bit.
Okay.
So give yourself more than you think you need. So that's about as far as I like to go, right?
Okay.
So then I'm going to get this hot again.
Okay.
And then it's the same step. Hold it off, whang, knock it down, and then just roll it back over itself. Yeah. There you go. Where most of it. But yeah, Kevin Costner has a new show.
So down first.
I would come back a little bit. So you got a lot of hard ridges right there.
Okay.
I would work those down. Yeah, exactly what you're doing. Keep going. Give it a little bit more pepper on the hammer there. There you go. Now keep this rolling real good so you don't end up with more flat spots. Yeah, you're doing great. Great. I'm loving this. Now do exactly what you're doing, but slowly work out to the edge while you're twisting. Yeah, keep doing that. Everything you're doing right now is perfect. Beautiful. Come back in that fire. You got it, man. So yeah, Kevin Costner has this new show. I can't even remember what it's called, like The American Saga or something like that.
Is it Horizon?
No, it's called like American Saga or something very similar. Part 1. And it was 2.5 hours long. And there's a lot of moving parts. There's several stories going on at one time, and they all kind of happen in about the same time period and same. Like it's like a story, like you're telling what's going on in the kitchen, what's going on in the kitchen, or the dining room, the bedroom, the living room, and occasionally there's some crossover. And so here's this fun step here. We're gonna hang it off the side, and we're gonna smack it over, and then we're not gonna hammer straight down on it, but we're gonna roll it back over itself.
Okay.
Now something that's common, it's gonna start to stand up a little bit, and you want to flatten it.
Okay.
Gentle hits. If you blast it, it'll get flat, and then you lose that cool roundness of it. But yeah, just kind of, you'll see I'm hammering like that. I'm not going straight down, and you're just working it down. And so you just keep curling it up like that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so good. Like Kevin Costner doesn't show up until like an hour into it.
Okay.
But it's really good. I love what Kevin Costner is doing with, like, telling all these early American stories. Oh, nice. That's a good chunk. Yep, good. I keep curling it back this way. That'll come back and meet itself. Yeah.
How do I?
All right, stop there.
Okay.
Let's get it on. Because if you try to do anything else, you're just going to blast that loop in the center.
Okay.
Off the edge. We're going a little bit down, but we're mostly coming back towards ourselves.
Okay.
And if it gets a little bit gappy, just close it up like that. Like good tight curls in there. Yeah, I'm getting that to meet up with the piece on the inside. Then when it starts to puff out, I go to the flat side. Just get a little smack. It doesn't take a lot, but she'll come back.
Okay.
I can't remember the two Indian tribes that were the main focal point of Dance with Wolves. But in the book, one Indians were like the bad guys and the other Indians were like the good guys.
Yeah.
And when they made the movie, Kevin Costner switched the two tribes. So the good tribe became the bad tribe and vice versa. Because we're going to get that hot. We're going to have to do some correction work on that. That's no problem. So he switched who was bad and who was the good, because the Indian tribe that was made out to be the bad guy in the book, whereas his neighbors, he owns a bunch of land out west,
Yeah.
and the bad Indians were his neighbors, and he wasn't going to make a movie that paints his neighbor's tribe as bad guys, so he swapped them. So to keep relations good with his neighbors, which is a wise thing to do. I thought Tim McGraw was an interesting choice for that 1883 show.
Yeah.
But he did really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed all of that show so much.
I haven't watched any of Yellowstone.
So Yellowstone was great to a point, but like I don't like when nothing but bad happens all the time. It's just not who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And but my wife loved it. She watched every single show ever with Yellowstone, and there's a new like season coming out or something.
Yeah, the final season's coming out.
And okay, so what do I got to do to fix this guy?
All right, so we're gonna hang it off the edge of the anvil
Like this?
Yep.
Okay.
Pull it tight against,
Okay.
and then hammer directly into the anvil. Just like that. Keep it going. Keep going. You're doing great. All right, stop. Let's check what we're doing there. All right, that's a little awkward. Actually, I know how we can fix that. Get her hot, and then we're gonna do some fudging with it a little bit. We got a little bit off the reservation, but
On the first day.
yeah, nothing wrong with it. We'll get it crusted. No big deal. I always say, Brittany, what do I always say about bends and metal?
Put a bend into it, you can take it out.
That's right. You put that bend there, so you can correct it. See how I had a huge gap and now it's starting to get smaller and smaller? That's why you go bigger than you think you need. Ask me why I preach that. Can't tell you how many times I spent a bunch of time, get this perfect scroll, pick up and look at it, and no gap. Well, I guess I didn't need that.
Yes, I did need that.
So we're going to change up. Yes. What we're going to do is we're going to get that bend right there getting hot. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come out and you're going to quench that lobe that you have going.
Yeah.
Quench that lobe, then stick it right there, and just pull that bend out. And now it'll give us access to the inside of the lobe. We'll get it out again, and we'll scrunch it back in there. Okay. That makes a lot of sense in my head because I know what's happening next. So if that didn't make sense, don't feel bad. We'll get it straightened out here in just no time. Bless you. All right, so go ahead and grab your piece.
Okay.
And we're going to stick just the lobe part, like the curl part,
Okay.
like that piece right there. Okay. Stick that in the water a little bit. Yeah, keep going a little bit deeper, Stop right there. All right, come on out. Now stick that lobe right there. Now stand it up. All right, come on out of there. Did we get it straightened out? Here, we're going to do it like this. We are going to cheat. May I?
Good.
Yeah, we got that out of the way enough. So let's go ahead and get that hot. I think we can get that corrected. Fall off the handle and drag it back over.
Did my wife ever hop on the string? No.
Nope, there are 2 comments. You and me.
I'm going to make a nice big hook out of this one, so I'm going to show you the next step when I get it. You're getting shy, Ty. You want to get down in that fire? You've been hanging out over on the edge.
Leaving on the edge.
So there's one character, I can't remember his name, in Yellowstone. It's the son who's a lawyer.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
He's a POS the entire time. And what I hate is that's an interesting character. The actor is doing a very good job at portraying this tormented character that's pulled in 2 different directions. No spoilers. But the problem is, if you pay attention, they recycle the exact same storyline for him every season.
Yeah.
He's no different in season 3 than he is in 1. It's the exact, hey, I did a terrible thing, but trust me? Okay. Hey, I did a terrible thing, but will you trust me? Okay. Hey, I did it. It's like, come up with something new for him. Like, let him be a good guy for an entire season and then really get us hooked and then let him do something bad the next. Like, I just feel like the writers are like, let's make the blonde chick get naked again. You know, like give me some decent storyline, you know?
Did you ever watch Game of Thrones? Nope. I was against it.
Here, watch this real quick.
Yep.
So so that's kind of ugly, right? We don't want things just coming off the edge. So we come over here to the very edge on here, and then we just massage that down. I'm not hitting it very hard. I'm just persuading it to go down that way, right? I wish I would have switched my camera over that. So now we get this really cool kind of question mark look. Dude, I'm going to show it one more time for the camera. I just held it off on the edge there and then massaged it down on that edge.
Looks real good.
Now, I could have quenched that and saved myself, but I've done this a few times, so I know how hard to hit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you get this nice straight line out.
Yeah.
So then I can work the other side, and it'll look real nice.
Mm.
I'm going to have to switch to the other tongues here in a second, too. Would you be upset if I helped you get this
No, not at
corrected a
all.
little bit?
I'm learning.
I'm going to see if that's a funky angle, so we're going to see if we can't get in there.
Just wasn't tight enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to bend over there, but it's just closing that gap. We'll get that hot and we'll see if we can't massage that. Okay. But you saw how I was doing that?
Yeah.
Just like that. It's real awkward to hold on to. So yeah, so you get to learn how to work the angles of the anvil there. So when you're hot, just kind of do like I was doing. Find an angle on the anvil so you can get onto that inside and tighten up that gap. So you know what? I have an idea. You know what? I have an idea. I know how we're gonna fudge it a little bit. Get her hot.
Okay.
I gotta trick up my sleeve for that. But yeah, I wish they would come up with something better for him. I hope he gets like a last season redemption or something.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick second because I just realized I haven't done any plugging. So, general plugs. If you're looking for real estate buying or selling in Indiana, basically anywhere, but mostly in central Indiana, hit up Daniel's Real Estate, Sean Daniels Real Estate, Fun Smiths to follow, Sharp Ben Forge on YouTube, DB_Forge on Instagram. Who else? I'm forgetting somebody, of course. Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. Oh, there's somebody else I'm forgetting here. Oh, From the Mold on Instagram. He does cool artsy things. And then, of course, brimstoneforge.us. Now it's slightly different. It doesn't go directly to the store. It takes you to, like, what is it called? A link tree. I'm a bit of a Luddite, so I don't know how that works. But yeah, then you get all the cool things, all the streaming, the store, the Instagrams, and all that stuff. brimstoneforge.us. You got anything you want to plug?
Not yet.
All right. Always try to get those in. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I need to write that stuff down. To the other tongues. I'll leave this end a little bit chunky. Since it's going to be a garment hook, don't want it to be too sharp. Now we're going to show you a neat little trick. So go ahead and grab your piece. I'm going to cheat just a little bit.
Okay.
Check this out. So we can't get that lap to close, right? But we can open that up. So if you'll come over here, we're going to go right there. I'd like you to give that a little tappy tap. Keep going. Let's flip it upside down. And we want to support the metal. Yep. Yep, keep going. Doing great. Keep going. Keep it bringing it. Okay, slow down. All right, give me a smack. One more. There we go. Stop. Real gentle like. All right, now lay it over. Just give it a little smack. There you go. Now start to roll from there.
Okay.
Instead of tightening it, we'll just open it up. Well, where that sun's getting awful low.
That's my bedtime. It's like 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Surprised you haven't fallen over asleep already. Yep. Drop forge.
Dang gravity again.
Gravity is extra strong over here lately.
Yesterday it was terrible.
Yeah.
We're just gonna tap it in.
So now we're gonna hold the loop off the edge and give it a little smacky smack. Yep. Till about there. Beautiful. Now stand it up proud. And now paint it like you're painting the floor. There you go. Just like that. Exactly like that. Yeah, exactly right. So now what we'll do is put it like that. And we're going to come up just a little bit and give it a few taps. All right. There you go. See, we're back to round.
Yeah.
Look at that. Correct.
Check it.
Took us just a second to get that fixed. But again, if you put that in there, we can put it elsewhere.
Pretty fun. Good time.
Yeah, I'm having fun. Going well. Now we're getting where we're falling down in the fire. We don't want to do that. You basically want to be pretty much level with the floor.
Okay.
You don't want to go below. Okay. Thing about Top Gun, you can't fly below the deck, right?
Yeah.
Which is so silly about that whole argument. It's like, you went below the deck. I was only below the deck for like 30 seconds. No, thank you. It's like, I was only below the deck for like 30 seconds and I came back up. Like, if you hit the ground, it doesn't matter how long you're there, you're on the ground. Oh, it's just a dumb argument in that movie. I'm not going to talk about it, but look up Quentin Tarantino's take on Top Gun. It's a very interesting take on Top Gun.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just think it's an interesting take that I would not expect anybody but Quentin Tarantino to pick up on these clues that are scattered through the movie. Fun fact, the that super sappy, slow song that played like 40 times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Take My Breath Away, I think is what it was. Yeah. So they went to that band and said, we want you to do the song, but that band did like metal. They're like from Germany or Sweden or something. Yeah. And they're like, that's not that type of music we do. But the singer was like, guys, this could be our launch into stardom. Let's do this big movie song. They're like, that's not what we're about. They're like, please, 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 can we do it? So the band said, all right, we'll do this song, but it's the last thing we'll ever do. and she thought it was going to launch her career. So she's like, let's do it. So they did that song for the movie and broke up.
Huh. Huh.
What's the name of that band? Like Enya or something like that? Come back to the anvil real quick. Hang off. Oop. Now come back. Now give it a few taps. We got a little bit of a cut. Little taps. Tappy taps. You're getting tired. You don't know what tap is. All right, now let's jump on fire. Doobie-doobie-doo. Was that Enya? Was that the name of it?
Oh,
I'll be able to tell you in a second.
the mighty Google.
Watching slow motion. Come on. Don't be.
Get Berlin.
That's what it is.
Remember when Levi's mom was in the chat and we were talking movies?
Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg.
And she came through with Andrew for like everything.
She must have been very bored that day. She hung out with that like almost the entire stream.
Nice.
All right, guys, check it out. I forgot to change my camera. Le Garmin hook. Garment hook, not a Garmin. But if you have a Garmin, you could hang a Garmin from it, I'm sure. Oh, I didn't want to do that just yet. Watching in slow motion. Don't worry about all that extra smoke. There's just some wax on the anvil that you're igniting there. Close up that gap. So what we can do here, if you're happy with how big that spiral is,
Yeah.
get it good and hot up to about right there.
Okay.
And then we'll do the fold it back over itself kind of deal.
Okay. Right there.
So I'm going to do a quick wax bath on this here.
Wax.
That'll seal it so it doesn't rust up so quick. And I learned a lesson the hard way, is never hold the piece above the wax, because that wax will melt and be really hot and then dribble down your thumb and your arm and leave a trail of burns all the way down your arm.
Which sounds horrible.
It was not a fun time, I will tell you that.
Why do you do that?
Prevents rust, at least until it wears off, right? Like if you keep hanging like a dog leash on this and constantly rubbing on it, the wax will come off. Going to the hot rack. Don't touch that, it's hot. So yeah, it
He's hot.
basically
She's hot.
prevents rust. We'll do the same thing to yours.
Okay. So now what am I doing?
All right, you're gonna come over here and you're gonna
Okay.
hang off the edge there. Nope, stand proud. And then come to, let's go to about right. Oh, sorry, hold it steady there.
Okay.
Now gentle wraps straight down. Gentle wraps straight down. Keep it going. Keep going. You're doing great. You're doing everything exactly right. Now look at your work. Is your stick in line with your hole?
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah, if you like.
Yeah.
Cool. Throw the tong side into the fire.
Rotate it around.
I'm going to put your S just over here so it can get warm enough to melt wax. So I'll get that sealed up for you whilst you work.
Sweet.
So, Ty, you've had fun on the stream, yes?
Yeah,
Having fun with the blacksmithing?
yeah, I love it.
All right. Is this something you would do again? Would you say this was easily accessible as far as once you have the equipment? It's
Yeah.
pretty easy to get into.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a lot like welding and soldering. Don't beat me up in the comments here. I'm speaking in very large general terms here. But welding is easy to do. It's hard to be good.
yeah,
This is the same thing. It's very easy to stick a piece of metal in a fire and not burn it apart and then shape it. Will it always be the exact shape you want? Not always. But if you stick with it, like your penny scroll got out of whack,
yep.
but you kept with it, you found angles, and you got it corrected.
It
I
looks
helped you
pretty
along
good.
a little bit because I have a little bit more experience, but we got it sorted out, and that's a very pretty penny scroll.
That stuff was cool. I like it. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, hang a plant from it. Hang your, you know, your hat from it, or come home and put your jacket on it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Very nice. Can't believe how it's getting dark sooner. It's about that time of year.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have an early fall. It's been cold
Yeah,
for this time of year.
Yeah.
It's been very nice, but it's been considerably colder than usual at this point.
yeah.
But once that sun really gets behind those trees, it goes black real quick here. So that's why I'm hoping we can get this finished before we lose all the heat. But with these lights, which we've never forged this dark with the lights, the stream looks pretty good for as dark as it is.
Which way do I want to grab this here?
So you want to grab it by the actual scroll itself,
Okay.
pretty much just like that. And you can afford, mine was much shorter. But if you open your tongues a little bit, you can get all the way back in there in the crux of it.
Okay.
Then just square and taper that like we've been doing. Ow, that's hot. Don't put hot wax on your finger. I was so careful not to hold the wax above my fingers, and then I rammed my finger along the hot metal.
Oh,
So it was hot, and then when I moved my finger away from the hot metal, the wax came with it. So it was still hot. It's like, why is it still burning me? I'm not touching it anymore. So, you know, be careful when around hot wax and hot metal. Also, that's hot, so don't touch it.
that's hot.
I didn't realize it had coal dust on it when I started. So when you get home, just hit it with a paper towel.
Okay.
If you got like a candle around, just set it on the oven. Let it get a little warm, and then hit it with your candle. And it'll be good.
Okay.
I've done wax treatments, and I've done this cool patina trick I'll show you another time. But I didn't have a forge here at the time, so I stuck the metal in my convection oven and let it run in there for like 10-15 minutes, and then pulled it out and then waxed it. It worked out just fine.
Nice.
Doesn't have to be hot, just like a low black heat. If you pull it out red hot and you put wax on it, the wax will combust into fire, and then you burn away all the wax, and it doesn't actually do anything. So yeah, taper, square, and taper.
All right. Now it's getting hard for me to see.
Yeah, I'm trying to redirect these lights so it's not blasting you right in the face, but still lighting up the room.
I was gonna say, can you raise them and then angle them down?
Maybe. I've never made them any taller than what they are.
Ow. I saw the light.
You have to move it because it's in the camera angle.
Yep.
That's alright.
Is it in camera D2? Nope. It's still in the shot, but it's not taking over.
Yeah. It's not going to block anything. Also,
Yes.
$195
Total?
between YouTube and TikTok.
Nice. I'm going to have to just spend an entire day making chain links now. Aside from like the 6 pieces I have left, I'm out of usable metal at the moment for that, so I'm going to have to prep some more metal.
It's a little harder with that weird shape.
Sure is. But remember to try and hold it all the way into the up against the boss of the the part where the rivet is, that's called the boss. So yeah, keep it all the way up there. It'll be a lot easier to hold on to. Get her hot. I need some heat in here. But yeah, the lights do pretty well. It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And we're lit up pretty well. Kind of looks like a scary movie though, when you step up there. I'm so scared. Whatever that dumb movie was, I didn't even watch it.
Blair Witch.
That's what it was, yeah. We'll probably shut down the lights last while we pack everything up tonight so we can see what we're doing.
Mowing the grass pretty late.
I mean, lawnmowers have headlights for a reason.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't mow
black.
on this dark.
I gotta have my perfect little lines.
So, not the last time I mowed the lawn, because that was just a couple days ago,
Yeah.
but the time before that, I was in a rush, and I just went full throttle the whole time. I have a zero turn thing. Went full throttle the whole time. I was leaving tire ruts and stuff. And then I was halfway done with just the backyard. And I looked down and my gas light came on. And it's like, and if you know the answer to this, throw it in the comments. I'm really curious. If I'm running out of gas, is it better to go slow and get it done, or just run full throttle and hope that I can get as much done before the gas runs out? I chose to go full throttle.
Yeah.
And I learned something about my lawnmower. I thought it just was a binary light. You need gas, it's on. No, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And when I got into the driveway and I started to back up, I looked out and that light was like cherry red as I was backing into the garage. Like,
So
man, I
really,
pushed
you
it.
need gas now.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, what do I need to do?
Remember, grab it all the way up against the boss. Ooh, you got a good heat. You can work for a long time on that. And you almost burned it off. That was close. So yeah, just keep what you're doing. Let's get that good and round. Yeah, just taste that round. So you're kind of weirdly flat. So hold it like that. Hit right there. I'm going to help you out just a little bit here. Yeah, perfect. Let's go to the edge of the anvil. I want you to work right there. Just right there. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. All right, now give me a light tap right there. Perfect. Perfect. What was that video game? Perfect.
No, that was a camera. One of the old.
Oh,
like,
that's right.
wind up.
Closer. Closer.
Closer.
So you can keep working that. Keep working out some of those rigids there. I know it's getting harder to see. Yeah, keep it working. All right, I'm relatively happy with that for it being dark. Let's go ahead and get the tip hot, and we'll roll it over, and then we'll get it hot again. We'll heat up a good chunk of the bar.
Okay.
We'll come out, we'll point to the loop, and then wrap it into a hook,
Okay.
and you're done.
Sweet.
So yeah, first step is let's just put that loop in there. And at this point in time, as long as your penny scroll is flat this way or this way, it doesn't matter which way you look. Just so long as your penny scroll is flat like this.
Flat. Okay.
And then we'll just roll it the other way when we hook it. We are down to the wire, and this is I think, the longest live stream we've done.
Right about. We did two. We did S hooks
and now garment hooks. But yeah, we're just at about 2 hours 15. I would say it went pretty quick. I didn't feel like it dragged at all for us. We've been pretty busy. All right, cool. That's hot. So we're going to hold just the tip off.
So like that?
I'd come back a little bit more. Perfect. Perfect. That also kind of sounds like Eternal Champions. Remember that game? So
Yeah.
go ahead and roll that over until
Coward.
that... Simpleton. So keep rolling it over until the tip meets back to the stock piece. Perfect. Perfect. So back to the fire, and we want to get it hot for a piece this big. I'd say let's get it hot to about right there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I like to leave ash so you can see it once I open. Yeah, so let's lay the whole thing down in there.
Like that?
I like it. Give it a little tap right there. Give it a little tap so it gets down there. Perfect. Now that's stuck in my head. Closer. Closer. Perfect. So that was an old wind-up camera that he had back in, oh my god, like the late 90s.
You'd just buy them. Like you'd go and you'd just buy a disposable camera, and that's what it said.
Yeah, it had like an extra flash module on it.
Yeah.
And stuff. It was all fancy. But the video game we referenced, the Eternal Champions, incredible game. The Sega version was better than the Super Nintendo version.
It's kind of like Mortal Kombat,
but less
different.
gory.
Yeah.
And more, I don't want to say highbrow, but more family friendly.
Yeah.
There's no blood, no guts, and it was kind of like a Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Where like, and you just fall over, and that was the end. It wasn't like you were falling in beds of spikes.
Yeah.
But they had Xavier, the wizard guy, that had a snake cane, and he'd throw it at you and call you a simpleton. It was a lot of fun. Then the one level had buzzsaws that you could knock the other guy into, and it hurt him and stuff. It was a good game.
That and Shadowrun played on Sega
Oh.
hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you don't play Fallout or...
You know what? RPGs, for most of my life, was my favorite type of game, period. The greatest RPG and Star Wars game, Knights of the Old Republic, I beat that with 100% completion 4 times. I don't have the attention span to stick with RPGs anymore. That's like, yeah, cut to the chase. All right, fine. Like, and I don't like playing any games by myself because I spent so much of my teen years, like unless you were around, I was sitting in my bedroom by myself, playing video games by myself. I have friends now. I want to play games with my friends, so I don't play a game if it's just going to be me the whole time.
I've played PUBG with you a couple times. I reported like 4 people, and it turns out all 4 of them really were cheating.
Oh, did it come back and say
like
we
4 or 5
suspended them?
times, yeah. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Because I'm not the best video game player. I'm getting old now. But I'm pretty good. I make it to the last 10 almost every single time.
I'm usually in the last teens or early 20s.
And then, like, one of them, I hadn't moved in, like, a good 2-3 minutes. And the guy, like, ran straight in, straight up, straight in, and shot me once, and I died. I was like, what? What? I shot him, like, 3 times, and he shot me once. I was dead.
I was in a car, full speed, running, and I went behind a hill and died when I was behind the hill. Like, where was that guy? Because I thought the shots were coming over there where the hill was. That's why I went behind the hill. It's like, how did I die? So I watched the kill cam. I was here. He was shooting here and still getting blood, like, on me. So I reported it. And, like, the next time I logged into the game, they're like, oh, yeah, we suspended him for 1 week. Nice. Boom. Got him. All right, I think we can work with that. So you're going to come out.
Okay.
Quench just the tip. And then quench the tip. Just the tip. So we're going to hold the tip up proud over the edge of the anvil. Okay. And I would see where it's just starting to get hot right there. Put that right there on the shiny spot. Yep. And then hammer just the tip there. You'll get more leverage. Keep it followed. Yep, keep going. Keep going. You're doing great. Everything is perfect. Now come to the underside, just like we did before, and then bring it back to you. You need to like lap most of the way over. Yeah, just like that. Now come and set it down. Are we happy with that? Do we want it closed more? Do we want it open more?
For this, I'm going to hang something. I want it open just a little bit, just like that.
Perfect. So then what we're going to do is, you know what, that's probably, I'll let you do the waxing on this. So hold the piece down.
Okay.
And then take that from me, and then just rub it. Let's keep it away from the hammer there. So there you go, just like that. Remember to keep the piece below you so you don't drip hot wax on yourself. And yeah, when you get all that, set it down, grab it by the hook so you can get, there you go. Now don't touch that metal because that's hot. Do the other side. Yeah, I got dark real fast. Cool. So, go ahead and present it to the camera real quick if you would. There we go. Another Garmin hook. Let's not get too close. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so go ahead and just set it on the anvil there. So, it is very dark. It is very late, and it's past somebody's bedtime, so we're going to go ahead and shut down the old stream here. As always, what's the channel? Brimstone Forge.
That's right.
Hit up brimstoneforge.us. Leave me comments, questions. Hit up my DMs or whatever. If you're like, hey, Jesse, I want to see you make a whatever. I'm up for suggestions. But yeah, I think we're going to shut her on down. Remember, next week, Monday, same Forge channel, same Forge time at 6 o'clock. We will see you then. Everybody else say goodbye.
Bye.